Oh my god, I'm allergic to shit movies. Oh, I mean, or it's hay fever. The rest of this review might look a bit bloodshot. Naked Singularity. I had to take a drink before I said that. So this is a new film just recently out with John Boyega in it. And it is more convoluted than it needs to be. It seems to want to try a few different things and try and deliver a few different messages in this. Doesn't quite stick the landing for me. So with John Boyega, so he's playing Cassie, who's a public defender who wants to do right by everyone he's defending. He doesn't want them to just fall back into the system. Like right at the start, one of the examples is there's somebody who has been sober for about 105 days. He does everything he can to keep them out of jail. Some of it a little shifty, but he does it for a good reason because he knows this person will fall back into the system, not be sober any longer, go back onto what he's onto, and then it's just the same loop all over again. And he's sick of seeing this, so he wants to do right by as many people as he can, and also he is in a rut of this. He's close to disbarment as well, and he's not respected by his colleagues. That's shown through the movie as well. The people he's up against, the judges, they don't respect him, they don't even like him in most cases. That would have been quite an interesting movie, is seeing him go up against the system. The kind of promo photos seem to be with their taglines, and one of his kind of partners in this is Bill Skarsgard. He plays Dane in here. I thought Dane was really good as well. And you've got Leah, and she runs the cars that get kind of auctioned off. She sits behind the desk there, getting sick of her life. So the movie kicks off and we see a couple of different cases coming up, and this is where you get to see John Boyega's intentions in this. But the movie shifts gears almost into a heist movie. So Leah gets involved because one of the cars that gets pulled into the lot that's going to get auctioned off later has like $15 million worth of heroin in it. She runs into somebody who's trying to get the car. She goes on a one-night stand with them later and goes and collects a few samples from them. They sell that, and now they need the car back effectively. However, she gets picked up for the heroin that she kind of takes for a sample, and that is how we've got our main Cassie and Dane kind of crossing paths and need to sort things out for her. And there's a lot of moving parts in here, and it's not pulled off in like a Guy Ritchie kind of gangster way where all these various storylines, there's not just an A plot and a B plot, the full alphabet of plots going on, but they all link in. All the characters have their own agenda, what they want to get out of this deal effectively. So Dane comes to Cassie because they talk about all the cases that they're dealing with and realises that there's probably a way that they can get the 15 million from themselves because they know the system. They know that the police are a little incompetent, they know how to rig it, they know how to make it look. And then in the meantime, you've got Leah who's going between Cassie, going between the police, going between the guy Craig that brought her involved in the situation, and also there's the cartel who want the drugs back themselves. Now that's all the parties that are kind of getting involved. It just keeps jumping between them, and it really drags out this film. It really does. I wish it didn't. The promo photo with the sword, like, he's a good guy. There's parts where clearly he doesn't want to hurt people, but then he's got a sword, and Cassie makes a point to Dane that they're not here to hurt people. And there's like a scene around this, they have an exchange, but then moments later you've got Cassie that's got the sword, seen in all the photos, and like it's no bother at all. Like he's okay with hurting people and potentially killing people now all of a sudden. So I'm going to shift focus now onto kind of the name of this movie and why it's called that. So his neighbour's introduced early on in the movie because he forgets his key and goes there, and his neighbour's a bit of a nut job, he's a scientist, but he's believing that there's other universes happening as well, and that there's all this evidence for it. You know, there's rolling blackouts in the city, the temperatures are going off, certain signs are broken. So he lays the groundwork that this is a possibility in the name of the movie because he starts talking about dying stars and how they create black holes, and that's the singularity there. Cassie throughout the movie makes reference to the other universe, the other him somewhere, and that's what I mean by it feels like this movie's got a message to say, but it does fuck all with it. It does add in these weird effects where, and not just effects, like moments. He's got weird dreams that involve characters that he can't know the situation they're in at that point, but he's had a dream about it and he wakes himself up. There's like text that shimmers when he looks at it at a couple of scenes, just highlighting it, not just for the audience, like he sees that and he floats at a moment in the movie as well. Yeah, it's not just like a character has said this offhandedly. Parts of the movie that lean into it, but it doesn't go anywhere. So that's what I mean by if the film had just been a public defender who's wanting to save people, maybe a little bit outside the law or take it into his own hands, a little daredevilish, I'm all for that. He could have absolutely nailed it. If it wanted to have this whole message and deeper meaning that there's other other universes, other uses, other versions of us, in different paths, in different futures, that would have worked too. And the acting in this, so John Boyega, he fits the role, he does the job. I'm not saying he's bad, but nothing stood out for me. Bill Skarsgard as Dane, as his kind of colleague, the one that really pushes their involvement in the heist, I thought he was terrific. He was kind of the comic relief, if anybody, but he wasn't good just for that, for the change of pace. He was just a really interesting character. I would have rather we follow him than we followed Cassie for the movie. And the humour in here is very just thrown in as well. There's a lot of lines in here where they're clearly making a joke and they're trying to be funny, but it doesn't fit the tone that they've just had, and it happens a lot. It's a weird one, like it's not a comedy. I know you don't need to be a comedy to have jokes, but have a balance there then. This film just doesn't do that either. I was severely disappointed with Naked Singularity. And what was initially a good premise, it feels like it just grew arms and legs and became this otherworldly situation. So they kept adding in all these various parts that they think they wanted to explore. They didn't stick the landing with any of them, unfortunately. There's not much to Cassie's character other than that he thinks there's another world, and that's not enough to go on. If it was like a moral dilemma, that would have been fantastic to see, or his moral dilemma up against the law and how what one's going to win. Does he do what he thinks is right, or does he keep his job long term? I mean, he clearly wants to keep his job, but then he's involved in a fucking heist with a sword. I don't get it. Would I recommend this to anybody? No, I wouldn't. We're saying just go and watch anything else. Also, just to say as well, this is 2021. Can we stop making movies where characters text like, "Where are you?" Because it happens in here and it just really fucking annoys me now. Do people still use that language? I don't, because we have predictive text now. The reason we done that is because it cost anywhere from like 1 pence up to 10 pence to send a text, so you had to shrink it down however you could. Now we've got unlimited text and predictive text and people are still messaging each other like that. So when I see it in movies, it just really bugs me. Unless it's set back then on a brick phone, that's different. That's fine. That's fitting with the times. I thought Cassie and Dane, they bounced off each other really well. And I thought Bill Skarsgård brought up and brought the best out of John Boyega in those scenes. But when he wasn't there, it was like a different character. His heart wasn't in it and there wasn't enough. So not only were they good together and bounced off each other well, they complemented each other very well. But when he wasn't around, yeah, John Boyega just, it seemed like he was phoning in a lot of it, which is unfortunate because the guy can act. He's shit hot at it. Whether this comes down to the director, the script, the actor, I couldn't even guess. That's up for speculation. But the end result's all I can see, and the end result just wasn't too good. So that was some of my thoughts on Naked Singularity. Have you seen it? Do you agree with me or not? Please do let me know down below. And if you want to see anything more that I've got coming out, please hit subscribe. You'll get to see everything. Keep yourself up to date and know as soon as I drop a new video out. But thanks very much for watching.